The last class we were seeing inheritance. We'll see the same example and I'll add some more functionality into it. Okay. So let's see the same example of what we saw yesterday. This is class A. We are seeing inheritance now. So we have int x and we have int y. We are having a method called as void show xy. SOP value of x and y is plus x plus y. So this is one class. Okay, the requirement is what? We want to add additional functionality into the class. The requirement is we want to add additional functionality into the class. If you want to add additional functionality into the class, you are not supposed to modify the class. Yes or no? Oops, strictly says do not modify an existing class. You should never modify an existing class. Okay, so if at all you want modification, that is when what we do, we start writing a new class. But in the new class we want old functionality plus new functionality. Two things we want, old functionality plus new functionality. So how do you get the old functionality? Not by writing the same code again, but by inheriting the code. You want new functionality, we say you want the existing functionality in another class now. So how do you get the existing functionality in another class? Write a new class, write the same code. That's how you have to get. Instead of doing all that, what will I do? I'll inherit the existing functionality into a new class. So that is what is inheritance now. Inheritance is the process of what? Inheriting the existing class functionality into a new class. And to do that, Java has provided you a keyword. Elegantly it does it. Very neatly it does. Extends A means over, all the code from A class will come into B class. You are getting it now. One option is write a new class, write all the old code, then put the code. Other option is just inherit the code. So inheritance is one mechanism to inherit the functionality of one class into another class. Yeah, this is it. Sorry, 1 second. I'll just add one more member here. Just 1 second. So there is one more method called as void m1 I'll add today, which was not added in the last class. Just I'm adding it. SOP inside am1. Just we'll see why I added. Okay. So it's the same now. I want all this functionality plus new functionality. For new functionality, what will I do now? I'll write class B extends is the keyword provided to you by Java, extends A. So we are inheriting the functionality of class A into class B. Rather than writing all this into a new class, we'll inherit now. So here we can add our extra members. Int Z, I can have a method called as void show Z. Okay, void show Z, you can have a method SOP value of Z is plus Z. I can have one more method. Why is the sum method getting added here? Just to make you understand, the members of superclass are easily available in subclass. Subclass has got complete information about superclass now. So see this, SOP sum of x, y and z is what? Plus x plus y plus z. Correct that? So here we are not looking into addition. We know how to do addition. But the x and y of superclass are easily available where now? The x and y of superclass are easily available in subclass. That clearly shows that superclass members are easily available in subclass. Easily available. Directly you can use them. And what member I am using? X and y. That's a very good example. Okay. So now if you want you can access it directly like that, or yesterday last end of the class I had introduced sum of x, y and z is plus I can print what? Super dot x plus super dot y plus plus only z. So I have to teach you super keyword. You don't have to worry too much about that. This is the introduction. Super is a very big keyword like this. This was a keyword now. Like that, super is a big keyword. Just I'm introducing it. Just see. Okay, super keyword should always be used in subclasses to access the member of what? Superclass. Okay, just typing you understand that much. So this is one way you are accessing. Now see, I'll write one more method here, void m2. A very interesting method. I'll write SOP inside m2 of B class. All this is fine. But see now, m2 also can access what? m1. That is the reason I added m1. Not only variables, you can access what? Methods also. How will you access m1 method in subclass? Directly you call. This is one option. Other option is what? Yes, you are getting it right now. Super dot m1. Both are correct. I just commented and written it. I don't have space. Both are correct. So if you want, you can access the variables of superclass in
subclass, or you can access the methods also of superclass in subclass. Both are correct. But how do you access it? Blindly you can access AXY, or you can access M1 only directly, and or you can access super dot M1 also, like this. Any member you can access. So this is a just simple introduction what I am giving to you. What is the concept you see? This looks very simple now. What this example, and nearly this simple two classes is the foundation for our entire inheritance now. I'll be talking so many concepts from this simple example. So many concepts. One concept what we are seeing here right now, just imagine. Here we are saying, I want this functionality, means some existing functionality is there. I want to add some new functionality. Means I want to modify the class. So to modify the class, what we'll do? See the same example, we are viewing it in many dimensions. Okay, I want to add means extra functionality to this class. It will not means you are not supposed to do it. Why? OOPS clearly recommends do not modify existing classes. So what will happen now? You will extend. Now what is that you are doing now in class B? You are adding extra functionality now. So subclasses are written for what purpose? Adding or changing implementations. So we are adding extra implementation now. Changing we'll see later. So we are trying to add extra functionality now. Okay, so that's what we are seeing here. Apart from that, apart from writing a new class with new code, okay, one thing is what? One thing what we are saying is writing a new class with new code, means existing code plus new code. That is one thing what you are saying. Other side what you are saying, how you inherit the functionality of one class into other class also you are seeing. Understood? Now one side we are seeing modification. See, there are two things we are studying here in the same example. Modification means what? Some code is there in a class. I want to add extra members into it. That's only modification. Huh? Some code is there in a class. What are the members of class A? XY, show XY, M1 method. Some code is there. It's having some functionality. I want to add extra functionality. That is nothing but what? Modification. Huh? That's nothing but modification. But modification I will not do in the same class. Instead I will use a subclass for implementing modification. How will I write the subclass now? I will not write old code plus new code. Instead simply I will inherit the old code and add the new code. This is nothing but modification. So in this example, one side you are saying modification. Other side you are saying how you can inherit. It's the same. They get related. We see, even though they are different topics, okay, but they are quite modifying is completely different. Inheriting is completely different. But we are seeing both the concepts in one example itself. Inheriting what? One class functionality into another class. Inheriting one class functionality into another class. So here one class is called as what? Superclass. Another class is called as what? Subclass. That's it. So you are saying how do you inherit? So when I inherit, I can access what? Superclass members in subclass. Let's see the code for this. See, there are a lot of terminologies I am introducing here. Terminologies. Just see, the reason I am repeating the same example again is to introduce you more terminologies. What are the terminologies? Class A is called as what? Superclass. So class A is called as superclass, or it's also called as, sorry, see, we call it as superclass, or you can call it as base class, or we also call it as parent class. Even though you can call all the three, we refuse to use these two. We always call it as superclass. Now class B is used also can be called as what? Subclass. Second one you can call it as derived class. Third one you can call it as child class. These are all terminologies related to inheritance we are seeing now. Okay, again here also we will not use these two. We always say superclass, subclass only. Okay, so classes have been designed. Now let's see how to work with superclass and subclass. So when the two classes are ready, now see this. Class demo, PSVM. Now see, there are two classes. Means I have written one class, somebody else might have written another class. The reason why did he write another class was what? He wanted my code, plus he wanted extra code. So he is not going to modify my class. Here, I write one class, you should never modify my class. If you are interested, use my class. Else you write your own new code. But do not try to modify somebody's code. So that is the reason you have written subclass. Now I have written one class, you have written another class. But all others wants to use our classes now. So it is up to them. If they want, they'll use class A. If they work with class A, they'll have access to only 4 members. XY, show XY, M1. But if they want to work with all the members, then they'll bring B into existence. Means they'll create an object of B, as simple as that. So it's up to them. So the users will decide which object they want or what code they want to bring into existence. First let's work with A. See, when you're inheriting, it doesn't mean that you have to work with subclass. There's no mandatory rule. It is up to you. There will be two classes. Which code you want to bring into existence, you decide. There's no hard and fast rule that once it is inherited, you want to work with only subclass. No, you are interested, you can work with class A only. See this, A is equal to null. Now what do you understand here? You are declaring a variable of type A. Now more terminology. See this, A is a variable of type A, correct? A is a variable of type class A, but class A is superclass. So we call this variable as superclass reference variable. See, more words are coming out. Superclass reference variable. It's a variable, but it is superclass reference variable. Are you following it now? It is superclass reference. Why it is called as a reference variable? Because it can hold the address now. So it is called as superclass reference variable. Still the object has not been created. Now I'll create the object new A. So what happens? Superclass A object is getting created, and that address I'll give it to which one? A. So we are creating superclass object. What are we creating? Superclass object. So what is superclass object? Going to have now members X, Y, show X, Y, M1. See, it will have the default constructor will get executed. You don't bother about all that now. Just focus on superclass and subclass. Address is 150, it is given to A. So the memory which gets allocated is called as object, and this is called as superclass object. Are you following the terminologies? These are very important because tomorrow when you start reading books, these are very, very, very important terminologies. Superclass object is getting referred by what? Superclass reference variable. A is a variable of type superclass. It is referring to superclass object. Fine. And I'll initialize the members now. Means a default values of X is what? 0, 0. So I'll initialize it to something, some value I'll give. A dot X is equal to 1, A dot Y is equal to 2. Fine, and it will overwrite now. Initially it was 0, 0 because you have not initialized anything. So now it becomes 0, 0. Now A dot show X5. Now again, in this program, don't try to understand that I am trying to initialize and all. Again, focus on accessing. Always you should bother about accessing. If I create a superclass object, if I am referring it with superclass variable, how do you access the members now? With dot operator, and same thing. It's not initializing. Just see how I'm accessing X. A dot X, A dot Y, A dot show X, Y. That's how you access. So X and Y, if I want access of A in another class, how do you access? By creating an object and accessing. But the same X and Y, if you want to access it in subclass, directly you will access. Notice the difference. Because demo does not have any information of class A. Why? It is not related. But B is related to A. So that's why you can access it. That's why I stress so much on accessing. Clear? And if you want, you can print all the values. You can print SOP, A dot X you print, SOP. Again, it's not about printing. What is it? Accessing. You can print. And I can call all the methods. A dot show XY, or I can call A dot M1 method also. All these members you can access. 4 members also you can access. But how did I access the members? With the help of superclass variable. Superclass reference variable. Clear this? So if you are interested with class A, work with class A. Nobody stops you. Understood? But if you are interested with to work with even the subclass members, yes, that's also possible. So OOPS is so brilliant. It says what code you want, you can use. So now say, if let's work with B now. B is equal to null. So here what's happening? This is subclass reference variable. B is a variable of type class B. This B is a variable of type class B, and class B is a subclass. So we call it as subclass reference variable. And subclass variable can refer to subclass object. Are you following now? Subclass variable can refer to subclass object. So I'll write B is equal to new B. Valid now? B is equal to new B is valid. So now which object gets created? B. So it's totally a new memory. X, Y, show XY. Same thing will come into existence now. M1. Then what will you have? Z, show Z. M1. Sorry, show K. Sum. then M2. All the members are come into existence. Now this object what you are seeing here is called as subclass object. Are you comfortable with the words now? Superclass object. See, I am mentioning everything clearly. Superclass object, subclass object. This is A is superclass reference variable, B is subclass reference variable. So the object and variable should match, yes or no? If I create an object of any class, that object and the variable type should match, no? We have seen, can hello h refer to new test? Can box be referred to new hello? Same thing here, same rule continues. So superclass variable will refer to superclass object, subclass variable will refer to subclass object. And with B, I can access all the members. Again, don't think I am initializing. Don't bother. Let's see how do you access the members one by one. B dot x is equal to 5, B dot y is equal to 6, B dot z is equal to 7. More focus on accessing. So I am accessing now. Okay, see, inheritance is a concept which is now, when you inherit, inheritance is related to definite class definitions. Okay, I'll come back to the point. So we are initializing x, y, z. Then I can access which one? Show x, y. Yes, I can call the method b dot show z. I can call the method b dot sum. I can call the method, and then I can say b dot m2. But when I call m2, very interesting. M2 will call which one? So means, see, sum is also accessing x, y, z. How will you access it? B dot sum. How will you access it? Directly you can access x plus y plus z, or you can access it as what? Super dot x plus super dot y plus z. These are two ways you can access same code. Okay, or in M2 you can call directly M1, or you can call super dot M1. This is also valid. So just see how you are accessing the superclass members in subclass. Why? Because subclass has complete information about superclass. When subclass has complete information about superclass, that is why when you create subclass object, what happens? Both superclass member and subclass members will come into existence. Both will come into existence. Understood? By chance, if I have not created a object, what would have happened? Still superclass members have come into existence. Where? In subclass object. By chance, if I don't create a object, don't think A is not existing now. A has come into existence, but in the form of subclass. In the subclass object, you will have the members of superclass and subclass. So it's up to you which object you create. Means how much of code you want to bring into existence. Think like that. If you are one more way to better understand this is, think that class B is new class. Without extending here, write all this code here. As simple as that. I wrote now yesterday on class. A new class with the old code plus new code. Think class B in that form now. It will be easy for you. Understood? Instead of writing that old code, what we do, Java gives you a brilliant feature of inheritance. Inheritance is used for reusing. The main advantage of inheritance is what? Reusing and avoiding complexity. You are saying now. What is the advantage of inheritance? Why do you do inheritance? Reusing and avoiding complexity. I want the same code in another class, we will reuse it like this. Understood? Okay, inheritance has got many definitions. I will be explaining one by one. So are you clear with this complete example now? And I can call the superclass members easily in subclass. Okay, but see M2 method, how did you are accessing in another class? By dot operator. M1 method, how did you access? Dot operator, like this. Are you getting the difference between how you are accessing the members of superclass in subclass and those classes in another classes? This should be very clear. Clear? Shall I clear this example? More terminologies. Yes, we saw superclass is used for implementing what? Generalization. And subclasses are used for doing what? Specialization. Anyway, that concept I have not explained to you here. I didn't explain you why it is, what is generalization and specialization. For that, another example I have to take. So here we have seen how do you modify existing class, and other thing what we have seen is how do you inherit the functionality of one class into another class. Are you clear? So what are the different terminologies? Superclass, subclass, superclass reference variable, subclass reference variable, superclass object, subclass object, generalization, specialization. So many words we are seeing. So before learning programming and inheritance, we have to understand the terms. and then coding is very simple, because these are concepts. Okay, these concepts, how it is being supported by Java, we are seeing. See, one thing clear, get clear. We are not learning Java and OOPS. Don't think we are learning. See, there is a difference between Java and OOPS. If you think like this, it is tough. Okay, so we are not doing this. Instead, we are doing this. We are learning OOPS in Java. It is the reverse we are doing. We are learning OOPS in Java. You go to C++ also same story. You go to COBOL also same story. But how you do it is different then. Understood? All object-oriented languages, you have to study the OOPS concept. See, most of the time you go on to learn OOPS in some places. When you go to learn OOPS, what they do? OOPS they teach separately theoretically. OOPS they teach separately theoretically. Then they'll talk about some programs. And they'll say over. So they teach OOPS separately, they teach language separately. But OOPS has to be learnt with language itself. That's the difference. Understood? Are you getting clear with this? So we are learning OOPS in Java. Once you know OOPS in Java, you can study OOPS in C++ also. You actually think what? After learning C++ only you have to learn Java. That is wrong. After learning Java also you can learn C++. Ulta approach also you can take. But we don't do it. Why? To learn one language only it will take so much of time. Where's the question of learning one more language now? Understood? Not required. But generally there's a myth. What is the myth? If you want to learn Java, mandatory language is C++. It is wrong. That is not mandatory. Okay, generally people, why they tell that is, before going to Java, you have to learn C++, so that in C++ you will learn OOPS and go. If you learn OOPS in C++, it will be helpful for you in Java. Not required. Directly learn OOPS in Java only, no. Why do you want to learn OOPS in C++ first and then come in learn in Java? Directly learn OOPS in Java itself. And comfortably you are learning now. And in OOPS in C++ is not good. On top of that, OOPS in C++ is not, you want to learn also, you'll learn, you'll spend time. But the problem is they are not implemented properly. So after putting so much of effort, you'll learn, and then you will see that that has not been supported by Java means, or if Java is not supporting, it means why they are not supporting? Because there are complications. Like example is what? Operator overloading. That's one of the example. Okay, you'll study in C++, then you'll put on 5 days effort. How to do, you'll put effort. Day and night you'll struggle. Then suddenly you'll come to Java now. Your main intention was to learn Java. So that's why you learned C++. You'll learn it. And you'll come to Java and I'll tell in Java it is not supported. How much bad you'll feel now. So these are the reasons. Directly you can learn OOPS in Java itself. It's only a myth created outside. Understood? Like you can't do this and all. It's very simple, man. To make you still clearly understand, to learn Sanskrit is English required. If you want to learn Sanskrit, do you have to learn English? To learn French, is Kannada required? They are totally different languages. Why do you compare like that? Understood? Directly you can learn it. So are you clear with all this? These terminologies? We'll see the next concepts now. Okay. Shall I clear everything? You want me to code this? Ensure you can do it now. Yesterday's code only you can just add two methods, M1 and M2. In M2 you call M1. That's it. But do not neglect this example. Most of the future examples will be based on this itself. This is the introduction to inheritance. So this is done. Then next what we'll see? Yeah. So we'll see the next topic, types of inheritance. You know how many types of inheritance are there? Let's see the types of inheritance. Inheritance is a big subject. Okay. So now we are saying types of inheritance. These are concepts. These are concepts. Now that concept, how it is supported in Java, we have to see. Understood? That concept, how it is supported in Java, we have to see. That's how it goes. So there are some different types of inheritance. See this. Now there are 5 types we have classified. Simple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, hybrid inheritance. These are the 5 types of inheritance. Okay, so what happens is, So this is the concept. In inheritance, these are the concepts. How does Java support this is the question. Now same thing, you have to study these types of inheritance. In C++ also you have to study what? In C++ how do you do simple inheritance? How do you do multi-level? How do you do multiple? In C++ you study that. Java also the same story. Only they do it in a different syntax, we do it in a different methodology of syntax. Fine. See now, these three inheritances are supported with the help of class data type. That's what you have to understand. Java is supporting inheritance in a more beautiful way than in which one? C++. Okay. So then these three are is supported in Java with the help of class data type. And one more thing. Do you think multiple inheritance is there in Java? Is multiple inheritance supported in Java? It is supported. It is supported. Okay. But not with the class data type. It is supported with the help of interface data type. Now these are all concepts what you have to learn now. Okay, so these two are supported with the help of interface data type. So concepts are there, only we are saying how it is supported by Java. C++ failed to address this problem, whereas Java goes on to give the solution to this problem in a more easy fashion to you. So you want to learn OOPS in Java or C++? Java only you learn now, simply why you are wasting time in C++, correct now? Yes, now let's take the first inheritance. Which one? Simple, we'll see. So what is simple inheritance now? Are you getting this point now? See, one thing what I want to tell you is now, these three are there, simple, multi-level, hierarchical, if you see, multiple and hybrid. These three are supported with class data type. These two are supported with interface data type. And now these are theoretically learning concepts. Now we have to see plenty of examples for this. Understood? We have to see plenty of examples for this. Answer to all this is example. Answer to all this is only example. Like you might have why we do simple inheritance, why we do multi-level, why we do hierarchical. You might have all these questions. Answer to this will be got only by examples only. But just understand these are the concepts. Okay, next. What is simple inheritance? It's very simple. So in simple inheritance you'll have only two classes, A and B, nothing else. So in simple inheritance there will be exactly one superclass and one subclass. That's it. That is, subclass will get the functionality from exactly one superclass. Means B will get the functionality from only what? One class. This is the meaning. Exactly one superclass. Subclass will get the functionality from only one superclass. And it is supported by what? As I told you, class data type, which we saw an example. The first example what you saw was what? Simple inheritance only. Okay, next. See, there are reasons why you do simple inheritance, why you do the next one, which is that multi-level. There are reasons. Later on you will understand it. Okay, Java is supporting all, you don't have to worry. The second one comes up to multi-level. In this what happens? Multi-level inheritance can have one superclass and many subclasses like this. Chain. Okay, some more points. One subclass can have many indirect superclasses. One subclass, like say example D you take. One subclass can have many indirect superclasses. Indirect superclasses, not direct. Indirect it is. That is direct. That is, one is direct superclass and all are indirect superclass. One will be direct. And see, A is the direct superclass of all. See, A is the direct superclass of D. But B and C are indirect superclasses for D, like that. Means, understand the diagram is this. Looking at the diagram, you understand how is the inheritance going to happen. And it is also supported by what now? Class data type. This is multi-level. The next one is hierarchical. Hierarchical. Okay. In this, one superclass can have many direct subclasses. Many direct subclasses. Okay. So see, B is directly a subclass of A. C is directly a subclass of A. D is a direct subclass of A. All are direct subclasses of A. Earlier that was not the scenario. What was the scenario? In multi-level. This was the scenario. Multi-level it is. But in hierarchical, one superclass can have many direct subclasses. And it is supported by which data type? Class data type. So if you want to do that, Java says use class data type. Like that it says. Understood? The next one would be what? Multiple. This is multiple now. What is multiple now? In this, one subclass can have many direct superclass. Direct. A, B, C are all what? Direct superclass of D class. Direct. Okay, multiple inheritance is not supported by Java. That's all people know. Okay, but with class data type, the statement continues. Multiple inheritance Java is not supported with class data type. It is complete the sentence. Okay, it is supported with what? Interface data type. It is supported, and I'll give you brilliant examples for that also. But just understand the types of inheritance. The last one would be hybrid inheritance. You know what is hybrid now? It is the combination of multiple, multi-level and hierarchical. What is the meaning of combination of all the three? I'll explain you. One second, just see this. Again, hybrid inheritance is not supported by Java with class data type. It is supported with what? Interface data type. We'll be seeing all this. Okay, now see the meaning of this statement. Multiple, multi-level and multi-hierarchical. If you want me to explain that, see, hybrid is combination of all the three I'm telling. Means what? See, first now see, I'll explain you multiple. Multiple means what? B, C, D is there now. That is inherited into E. This is what? Multiple. Multi-level means what? A, C, C, E. Correct? Huh? Or A, B, B to E. That is multi-level. One more is what? Hierarchical. Hierarchical means what? A is there. B, C, D. This is hierarchical. So combination. You are seeing everything here. What you are seeing? Multiple also you are seeing. Multi-level also you are seeing. Hierarchical also you are seeing. You know, understand what is multiple? See, this is multiple. Yes or no? This is what? Multi-level. Hierarchical means what? Yeah, this one. Means A, B, C, D. This is called as hierarchical. It's a combination of all the three. Yeah? So these are the types of inheritance, and we have to see now how it will be supported. Are you clear this now? So just clear this, just to make you understand. I wrote like this, but actual diagram stands of what? Like this only. Yeah? Okay. So now again, when it comes to inheritance, there are too many things we have to study. I'm just introducing still inheritance only to you. So the different things what you have to understand here are, one, in inheritance, when it comes to inheritance, there are a lot of concepts you have to learn. How to implement all these inheritances. Okay, there are many things. Let's see one by one. So that is why now you'll start getting doubts. Definitely you'll start getting doubts. Why? You're understanding the subject, as simple as that. See, more doubts you get, it's always advantageous. What is advantage? You're understanding. You're not getting doubts means what? You're not understanding. So more doubts you get, it's beneficial only. And I'll be clearing all these doubts to you. But just I'll tell you now, what is the path now for learning inheritance for us. First thing what you have to learn in inheritance is, see, in inheritance we have to learn many things. Okay, how do you inherit functionality of one class into another class? This is what you have to learn. Into another class. This is one point what you have to understand. Next, what you have to understand? Modifying existing classes. This point also you have to clearly understand. Modifying existing classes. Modifying existing classes means that actual class will not modify. Instead of modifying it, you will write subclass. That's what. You have to learn it with examples only. These are the points. So in inheritance, we have to learn so many concepts now. Okay. Then we have to understand generalization and specialization. These two terminologies I have to make you understand. Then keywords provided to support inheritance. Correct? Huh?
Which are the two keywords we use extensively in inheritance? Extends and super. Two keywords you have to study now, rigorously, in depth, fully. Then what else you have to cover in inheritance? Okay. Support for different types of inheritance. Support and the need, both. Why so many types of inheritance are there? Correct? Support, first is need. Need means when it is actually required. And the support provided by Java. Need and the support provided by Java for different types of what is the need for so many types of inheritance? That's the first question. And if the need is there, how it is supported by Java? Yes or no? Both you have to study. Then any other things, you have questions, you can list it. Understood? So more might come, but all will cover. Okay, so sorry, one more thing. Yes, most important in inheritance is most important. Dynamic method dispatch. Have you heard of it? Or runtime polymorphism, the most important feature of what? Java. Runtime polymorphism. This word I have to explain. This you will not understand now, but we have to study this. Examples only I will teach. More. We have to learn something called as decoupling. Decoupling in inheritance. Decoupling support provided by what? Java in inheritance. Then next, achieving high level of abstraction. Achieving high level of abstraction. See these 3 points what I am writing bottom, you will be seeing it when we learn one concept called as a superclass variable can refer to superclass, one second, a reference variable can refer to a subclass object. So too many topics to be covered now, do not bother. Just I told you, I listed what are all the things we have to learn now. Understood? Make a note of all this. Okay, I think I have completed the first one now. Which one? See, among the story of inheritance, these may 8 points you have to study now. Okay, some more might be there. Okay, these are the concepts what you have to study now. This support is there, provided you in all languages, which on C++, COBOL, everywhere same story. But how it is done in Java? Always think like that. First understand the concept, then we'll see how to program it. You actually do ulta. You will program and then try to understand the concept. It's not possible like that. Always you have to understand the concept first, and then we'll see how to get that output by programming. Understood? Yours is ulta approach. Okay, so you have to understand like this. So I have completed the first one. Yes or no? In inheritance, what I have completed? Inheriting the functionality of one class into another class. I have completed this. You can put a tick mark to this. Next, modifying existing classes. I'll take this now. How do you modify? Means I'll talk inheritance from that point of view now. All of us know inheritance now, but what dimension I'll be teaching you? In modification point of view. Are you following now? Till now I was talking inheritance from this point of view. How you inherit the functionality of one class into another class. Okay, but now I'll talk inheritance in this point of view. So inheritance is a big topic now. So one by one you start seeing everything now. Shall I clear this now? How do you modify? Now, okay, modification means one class will be there. You might need extra variables there, or you might need extra methods there. Okay, or you don't want to one method only there. That also will possibly come. One class A is there. In that 10 methods are there. In 10 methods, you don't want the functionality of one method. If I create an object of A, what will happen now? A is equal to new. I can call all the 10 methods now. It will execute, but I don't want one method to be executed. I want a different logic to be executed instead of that. You get the point here. Changing functionality means this all thing will come now. Okay, I'll clear all this and start explaining you this. Shall I clear all this? Okay, don't bother about these things now.
I'll explain it with examples only. Good examples we'll be saying later. Okay. So, and okay, when I'm teaching you this, I'll be covering even the fourth point parallelly. What? Second and fourth point will be going parallelly. How to use extends keyword, how to use super keyword, parallelly I'll be going with that. Understood? So then, okay. Fine. So now let's see the topic of what do you mean by modification of classes. What do you mean by modification of classes? What do you mean by modification of class? See this, I'll have one class A. It'll have int x, int y, all this is okay. Void m1, SOP inside AM1. Some logic is there. Don't think only one line of logic will be there. You'll be having multiple lines of logic there. I'll be having void m2, SOP inside AM2. Then I'll write void m3, one more method, SOP inside AM3. The different modifications we might require are, one would be, I might need to add on extra variable. That is one kind of modification. Understood? One modification would be adding extra variable. Other modification would be adding extra method. Understood? Adding or removing the don't get the point clearly now. Removing the method means you will not remove the method. Instead of that functionality you want some other functionality to execute. Instead of that functionality you want some other functionality. Removing the method I'll write. Okay. Adding or removing the method. Adding a method, you know, one extra method I'll add. What? M4. Removing means what? I see when I create an object of A now, class demo, see this PSVM A is equal to new A. What will happen now? A object is created, yes, it will have X, it will have Y, it will have M1, it will have M2, and it will have M3 method. All the members are there. This is A object. If I call A.M1, it will execute. Whatever logic is there. If I call A.M2, it will execute. A.M3 also it will execute. But sometimes there will be a requirement. Okay, this is a very good class. I like this class. But when I am using it, I don't want the functionality present in M3. I don't want the functionality present in M3. I want some other functionality. Everything else I need. So the problem is just you don't need the functionality in one method. So that time what will you do? Now that's a problem. We'll see how it will be solved now. So for that one simple problem you have to write a new class. Write all the old members. And then write the M3 method with new functionality. Replacing. Means, but you can't modify it here. Because somebody else needs the same logic. So your option would be what now? Write class B, write int x, int y, void m1 you have to write, same functionality you have to write, void m2 you will write, same functionality you will write, but in m3 you will write some different functionality, SOP, different functionality. Correct? So what was your requirement? I wanted all these things, but extra means I do not want one method to be, one logic of one method to be executed. So now what will happen? It is achieved. But it is achieved in a very difficult manner. Writing all the code again. Understood? Then changing code here, it is achieved in a very difficult manner. Let's see how we do it in a more simple manner now. Okay, so functionality changing means or modification of a class means these are the different modifications we have to do now. Let us see how you do it now and how Java gives you very simple support for all this. So always learn a language from this point of view. Okay, so Java gives you everything very technically, clearly, logically. Okay, this is the problem, take this solution. This is the problem, take this solution. Like that for all logical problems it gives you technical solutions. Technically it gives you. Understanding now? So these are the problems now. And how do you add extra variable? Okay, then how do you add extra method? Adding extra method you saw in the previous example. What did I do? Show Z, sum, M2 method. I added no. In the previous example, class A, class B, first example of inheritance I gave you. What did I do? I added extra variable Z. I added extra methods in subclass. But still we'll learn that same example from modification point of view. Clear? Are you clear with this? So we'll start seeing now. This is a big topic. Minimum we require 3-4 days to understand the same topic now. Which one? Modifying an existing class. So that is where inheritance story will start off now. Clear? Should I clear all this now? Getting afraid of inheritance, huh? You are only thinking it is easy. Yes or no? It is tough. Inheritance is tough. Provided you don't work. Okay, from day one only you should start coding. Working means not seeing video. Work here, understanding the subject means see video, whatever you want to do, but at the same time parallelly code. Minimum you have to code for 4 to 5 hours. Video you will see for 2 hours. Coding you have to do for 4 hours. Minimum. In company you will work for how many hours? 8 to 10 hours now. Then here also you should think that you are working in a company only and learn things. Clear? Shall I clear all this now? We'll start seeing how do you modify now. So first I'll take this topic now. Adding extra variable. How do you add extra variable? We'll see. See, there is a class called as X. Do not bother more about M1 method. Just focus on what? X now. Okay, because we are seeing how to add extra variables. The topic what we are going to discuss now is adding extra variables now. Clear? So fine. We are having on class A, and in class A there is a variable called as X. Now I want to add extra variable into class A. Means I want to modify. I will not modify A class. Instead what I will do? Write one more class now. Okay, one more class now. What will I do? Class B extends. So what will I do now? I will inherit all that functionality and add the new member. That's modifying only now. Yes or no? So how will you do it? Let's see this now. Int y. Understood? So now what will I do? How will you initialize this? Adding extra member. Void m2. All this you know now, we already done it. Value of y is plus y. As simple. Adding extra variable. Not one, you can add any number. Understood? You can add any number. So let's see now, class demo. PSVM. Now how to initialize? Yes, we can do it in many ways. Hard coding, dot operator, constructor, methods, all are possible. That initialization we'll see later. What are all the different ways you can initialize, we'll see later. Okay, but right now I'll be focusing on adding extra variable. How you add? Initializing we'll see next. So now see, once you create the object A is equal to new A, what will happen now? An object of A gets created. It will have X and M1 method. Done? It's over. So now if I want, I'll initialize. Okay, A1 I'll take, one variable by name A1. So then A1 dot X is equal to 10. Fine. So in A1 the value of X was 0, now it is overwritten to 10. Then if I want, I can create A2 is equal to new A. I am creating an object of what now? Again A only, superclass objects. So X is 0, this is M1. So you can create any number of what? Superclass objects. A1 is a superclass variable. Now I am using the terminology. A1 is a superclass variable and these two objects are superclass objects. So I am having 0 and I will initialize A2 dot X is equal to 20. Fine. It is changed to 20. Done? So this is simple. And a1 dot m1 I can call, a2 dot m1 also I can call. You don't have any questions here. Understand the subject. Initially when I teach introduce, it looks simple. Next example will become more interesting and complicated also. Just see what happens. B1 is equal to new B. Valid. Which object is getting created? B. So in B, what are the members? X and M1 from superclass, Y and M2 from subclass. This is B1 object. This is 250. Okay, this is 350. Now I will initialize. B1 dot X is equal to 5. B1 dot Y is equal to 6. B1 dot Z. Sorry, later now. B1 dot X means initially X and Y were 0. Now they are changed to 5 and 6. Valid now? So now you can print here also. B1 dot M1, B1 dot M2. See how you are accessing all the members. X, Y, M1, M2. All this is perfect. Okay, if I want I can create one more object. B2 is equal to new B. Still valid. So one more object of type B gets created. What are the members? X, M1, X, M2. This is B2 object. Address would be something like 450. B2 dot X is equal to 11. B2 dot Y is equal to 12. You can give values. So initially they were 0. Now they are. Any questions here? Any questions here? No questions? So we are seeing how to add a variable. Don't concentrate on initialization. Right now I am initializing with dot operator. Right now I am seeing how to initialize with right now we are seeing how to initialize with dot operator. But later on we will see how to initialize all the variables with what? Constructor and all that I will show you. You don't have to worry about that. Clear? So fine. Everything perfect. Any questions here? One small modification I will do in the program. Small modification. Only change would be class A is there. It's having one variable called as X. It's having one method. Fine. I want to add extra variable in this class. Not possible. So I will go for writing one more class which is called as subclass. So subclass will inherit all the functionality of it is inheriting all the functionality. It knows all the members of what? Superclass. If you want here, I can print SOP value of X is plus X. Valid no? When you say B dot M2 or B1 dot M2, what it will print? Both X also it will print, Y also it will print. Valid no? Similarly here also when you print B2 dot M2, it will print SOP X also, SOP Y also. Everything is valid here. Now one small thing what I will do is I will change the name of this variable to X only. Is it possible? Yes or no? Superclass, see, subclass has complete information about superclass. Remember now, subclass is having 100% information about superclass. It knows there is a variable called as X in superclass. Can one more variable with the same name be declared in the subclass? It is possible. This is possible. Okay. Why? You might get confused. Scope. Answer is scope. That X belongs to this scope. This X belongs to this scope. So according to scope, it is highly valid. It is highly valid. But let's see what are the problems we face. Okay. So this is common in inheritance. In any language, this is common. Now let us see how Java gives you the solution to this. Understood now? In inheritance, we start facing many problems like this. So a subclass will have complete information about superclass. It will have. Okay. So then, we are having a variable here. I want to write one more variable now. But the problem now is I want to write one more variable with the same name. If you write different name, no issues. If you write different name, no issues. Understood? So, but if you want, you can have one more variable with the same name. This is also possible. If you do like this, now let's start seeing the problem now. Okay. So here what will you print now in M2? I cannot print value of Y is. What will happen now? I have to print what? Value of X is. Correct? Let's see all the problems. Small change now because you modified it to X. Here I also have to change it to X. Let's see the same code. No change. Okay. First we'll work with class A. Same code I am taking. Only modification what I have done is what? Get the point. Earlier it was Y. Yes sir? I have removed this. That's all I have changed. int y I made it to int x. If that is changed, now let's see what will happen now. First we'll see A object. A object is very simple, very easy, you will understand. Okay, it is very simple. So what happens? A1 is equal to new A. So an object is created of type A. So once an object of type A is created, what happens? It will have only A members, A class members. Superclass object will have superclass members. As simple. X is there, M1 is there. Initially it is 0. I will provide a value of 10 valid. If I want, I will create one more object of A again. Again, what will be the members? X and M1. Again I will initialize it to what? 20 valid. Everything is valid now. Okay. Then I will call A1.M1, A2.M2, I mean A2.M1, both the methods we can call. A, we don't have any problem. We don't have any problems with A now. Okay. But when I create B object, now see what happens. BB is equal to, BB1 is equal to new B. So B object is getting created. What are the members of B now? What are the members of B now? X is there and M1 is there. SOP X you will print here. Fine. One more X is there and you are having M2. So you are printing SOP X, SOP X. This is the code. What I have written here, it comes into existence. So this is where confusion starts for developer. Not only in Java, this is problem in what? Any language, any object oriented language, this is a common problem, you will see. But let's see how Java gives you the solution for this problem. Understood? So now see, I have created B object. Once I create the B object, there are two X and both X are initialized to 0 only. They are initialized to 0 only. So now, how will you initialize? B1.x is equal to 5. B1.x is equal to 6. Your intention is what? For one X you want to give the value 5. For another X you want to give the value 6. That's all your intention is, nothing more than that. But what will happen now? You will get error. What overwrite? So what happens is, see, B1.x is equal to 5 means, so first this statement, let us see. There are two X. Which X will be initialized? The one in B is initialized. The preference is given to local one. So the X of B, because you created an object of B now. Okay, you created an object of B. See, we are right now learning in simple inheritance. We are learning this problem in simple inheritance. These problems will occur even in what? Multi-level and all that. So don't go to that level now. Just focus on simple inheritance. Understood? So what happens? B1.x. What happens now? This will be initialized to 5. Preference is given to the local one. But my intention is to give X, this X 6. But what will I do now? B1.x is equal to 6 means what will happen? The same X is used. This is the problem. So we are finding problems now. If the variable names were different, no issue. If the variable names are different, it was not a problem. But if they are same, we start getting problems like this. So right now we are having a conflict between, I'll use a statement, notice now, superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable. We are having conflicts between superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable. That's the problem what we are facing. Let us see how you resolve this one by one. Clear? So this is it now. Not only here, if you call b1.m2, m1 you forget. M1 it will print you what? 0. Value of X is not initialized. And b1.m2 what it will print? 6. Earlier it was 5. Now it has been overwritten to 6. Just check out this program. Okay, it will print 6. Now what will happen? But this is not my requirement. You are understanding the problem here now? Understood. If the variable names are different, no issue. Blindly will work. Okay, but if they are same, then we start getting these kind of problems now. So let us see how you start resolving this particular problem now. Understood. So this will bring us to a topic called as super keyword. This will bring us to a new topic called as super keyword. So this is the introduction of super. Already you have seen the usage of it. Understood. Simply I have shown you in a simple manner. You have seen the usage, but now we'll start studying deeper. Why it is used, where it is used, how it is used, when it is used. All those questions we'll start answering now. So super is the introduction now. Okay. So super keyword is used to access all the members of the superclass in subclass. I told you this point. Super is a keyword used to access all the members of superclass in subclass. Now you had a question, when I can access it so easily, why did they provide super keyword? Okay, so now you'll start understanding why you need the super keyword. Means earlier you are accessing x, y, z sum now, blindly you are accessing now. That time you might be thinking, when you can do it so easily like this, why did they provide super keyword? What is the use? So that becomes important when there is conflict like this. Like example is, okay, now see how do you initialize now. I'll do the initialization with methods now. I'll do the initialization with methods. Later on I'll do it with constructor. Okay, later on I'll do it with constructor. Just see how we initialize now. So now, when you're having conflicts like this, now this conflicted member of superclass, the conflicted member of means when you create subclass object. Understand the point. When you create subclass object, the conflicted member of the superclass cannot be accessed in another class. It can never be accessed. The conflicted member of superclass cannot be accessed in another class. Demo class. Another class means demo. Is demo and A, B related? No, they are completely different. You cannot access it. So if at all you want to work with the conflicted member, you have to work within the subclass only. So the other class will work with subclass. The subclass has to work with superclass. This is how the route will go. Okay, so let's see now how you do it. So I'll have one method here, int p q. So this method I added for what? Initialization purpose. So when there is conflict, you can't do the initialization with dot operator. When there is conflict, you can't do the initialization with dot operator. When there is conflict. When there is no conflict, you can do. When there is no conflict, you can do. How will you do? First example, good example for that. B is equal to new B. B1 dot x, B1 dot y, B1 dot z. So I told you that is the foundation for the next examples. So when there is no conflict, blindly you can access and initialize. But when there is conflict, it is not possible. So that is why, okay, we can take the help of method now. Actually, method is also not a correct approach. Constructor is the one. But let's study this first. So void fun. So now see, x is equal to p. If I write, what will happen now? The value of p is given to x. No problem. But again, if I write x is equal to q, what happens? It is given to the same x. That should not happen. So that is the reason we are forced to use super keyword here. Here it becomes mandatory now. Understood? So now let's see the program now. Same program we'll see. BB is equal to new B. What happens? What are the members now? M2 is there. SOPX, SOPX we are writing it. Leave M2 now. Just focus on which method now? Fun method. Int P, int Q. X is equal to P, super dot X is equal to Q. This is B1 object. So B1 is equal to new B. Start from this line now. B1 is, focus on the subclass object, superclass you know, don't bother. B1 is equal to new B. B1 dot X is equal to what? This I can't do. I can't initialize with dot operator. These two are error now. It will overwrite there only. So don't try to initialize like this. And the values of X are both 0. So to initialize now, what will I do? I'll call B1 dot fun method and send 5 and 6 as arguments. The 5 and 6 are argument. 5 is given to P, 6 is given to Q. Value of P is given to X, means which one? Local. Okay, in fact, see this point you have to understand. Super is a keyword which will be referring to the superclass members in subclass object. Okay, this is a keyword which refers to the current object. I'll remove A objects here. Actually, this is a diagram. Well, there will be one this which will be referring to. Here also I can use in superclass, I can use this keyword. Subclass also I can use this keyword. Okay, in subclass we use super keyword also. So now combination of both will be confusing right now. I'll just finish off with super, then I'll compare both together. Diagram I have drawn. Okay, but later on I'll clarify this, because till you understand super, you will not understand this now. So this is the diagram now. Super now means super dot x is equal to q, means it will now refer to super dot x and give the value of q to x, means the value of x is initialized to 6. This is what has happened now. Perfect. So when there is conflict, you can never access that conflicted member in other class like this. Are you following now? You cannot access it. Now what will you do? You have to initialize like this only. Now if you want to print the value also, you can't use it. SOP b1.x, no, you can't access at all, forget initializing. You can't access only. Only if you can access, you can initialize and print, anything you can do. The problem is you can never access this x only now. So to print that, what I'll do, I'll call m2 method. Now m2 method, how it will print? X means it will print local x. Super.x means superclass x. That's how you can access. There's no other approach for you now. Understood? Only when there is conflict. This is a very simple example. Are you clear this? I'll type and show you this. So in inheritance, there are a lot of problems we face. Okay, and let us see how Java goes on to give brilliant solutions to all these problems. Brilliant and easy also. Other languages will try to give good solutions, but they are very complicated, which developer doesn't understand. Okay, and one more thing. You might have a question. Okay, why that x is restricted? Here, if you have a question, why if I say b1.x, why it is restricted? It is very clear. Okay, there is a logical reason for it. See this. You have class A. It is having on x. You know that very well. You want to add extra one more variable. You want to give the same name. Why you want to give the same name? You don't want that x to be used. You want your x to be used. Fine, that is what is happening now. Correct now? What you required only is happening. This is only modification. You don't want the x of superclass to be used. You want the x of which class to be used? Subclass. Fine, happening now. See technically now. Logically you saw everything. Perfect solution. What is the confusion? No confusion only. It will never allow you because you only wrote subclass with another x, so that this x should be used. You are modifying it. Getting it now? So we'll see some coding of this and then we'll see this. I'll just introduce all this. Shall I clear everything now? So now, okay, yeah, you have a question?
Whoever the x is, that x value will never choose.
Which value? From B object you can't x. Understand the point. From B object you can't access x. Then superclass. From B object you can never access. That's what I'm telling you. See, you will be having one more question now. There is x m1. We had initialized this x to 10. There is a2. So there are two objects. X is, what is the value again? 20. There is m1. See, we have created how many objects? A, A2, B. Most of you will try one more way. A1.x. Again that is error. A1.x will get you the value from where? Means actually your intention is to get value of x in B superclass. It will not, because A1 is a reference variable of type superclass referring to superclass object. But on what grounds you are trying to access that x? Superclass has information about? No, I don't know on what grounds, but you will be thinking like this. Can I access it with A1? Can I access it with A2? No. You can access these members only with help of B1, but that x is restricted here. It is not allowing. Why? There is a reason. What is the reason? Correct only it is. You wrote subclass because you didn't want that x of superclass to be used here. That's the reason you have done it. So it will not allow you only. There's a valid reason for it. You can't access it. And why you can't access? You are only writing it. There's a reason. You didn't want that one of superclass to be accessed? Not possible. So if at all you want to work, come to subclass. In subclass work with the member of superclass. This is in simple inheritance. Again you will have questions, I know. Sorry, there is A, there is B, there is C. That story we'll see next. I am teaching you right now simple inheritance. You'll have problem. Next questions will definitely come. A is there, B is there, C is there, D is there. What is this inheritance called now? Multi-level. Here also I'll have X, here also I'll have X, here also I'll have X, here also. I'll answer, I'm not saying no.
So my question is, can I get a SOP statement in super?
Your question is, can I print? My answer is, you can't access. My answer is, you can't access. If you can access, then you can print or initialize. So his question is, what? Can I access this X present in B object in demo class? That is what I am telling. It is not possible to access first. If you can access, you can initialize and print. Anything you can do. But that is not possible. It's a very clear thing now. Okay. So if at all you want to work with the X present in superclass of subclass object. Understand? This is present in superclass of subclass object. It is not possible. So you have to go to the subclass only and work with this member, X member. How will you work? Super dot X. This is the only approach. So we're going to see more examples. This is the intro to what? Super keyword. Yeah.
Sir, can't we extend both these classes in demo and then access?
I told you we are learning simple inheritance. His question is, let demo extend B. So now all funda will come out now. I told you I am not teaching you what? First I will complete simple inheritance. My topic is this. First understand one level. Understood? First you have to understand your father properly. Then you can study his father, his father, his father. Understood? So in inheritance this is the same story. Clear? So first understand one level, then you can start studying the history of us. I just assume that I want to study history of my family. First I have to understand myself. Then I have to understand my father. Then I have to understand his father. Then I have to understand his father. Understood? You don't know yourself properly means where is the question of working with all those things. First learn one level. So we have learnt already one class, that is myself we have learned. Now we are learning what? Super class, one level we will learn. Then we will learn everything. Understood? Suddenly you start studying your family tree now itself, you will also get confused. Where did he come from? Who is he is son of whom? He is son of whom? It will become like Immudi, Mummudi. You know, no? Nothing you will understand. First study one level. I know you are very genius. Okay, but geniusness should be restricted to scope also. Scope of the class. One is scope of the class, another one is scope of members. Both. Clear? I'll answer all this. So anyway, his question was, you know why I gave such a big answer? His question was, demo will extend what? B, B will extend A. Okay, these are all wrong things. Okay, which we'll see later. Okay, anyway, I'm telling you, all your doubts will be cleared. I'm not saying I cannot clear it in one class. As the class progresses, your doubts will be cleared. I know very well, your doubts are very silly. I know it very well, but can't help. Okay, even though because the thing is you were not understanding all these days. That was one thing. Second thing is, if you ask one more thing, you might have understood, but you didn't found anybody who can answer your questions. So that is why you might be putting the questions to me, so that you are thinking that I can give the answer to you. I will definitely give you, but only when the class progresses. Not now, I can't do it now, because I am focusing on conflict between, my subject is conflict between these two. Okay, so now this will bring us to the intro of what? I'll just introduce super keyword now. First I'll introduce super keyword, then we can take this example again. Shall I clear everything? A big topic starts off, super keyword. I told you, modifying a class, at the same time we will be learning two keywords, second and fourth point, correct? A super keyword in Java. See, this is the heading I am introducing now. Clearly it starts off from now. Super is a keyword in Java which should always be used where? Subclass. Most of the points you will not understand, don't bother, we are going to see with examples only. Just to start off writing, we will learning this. Super is a reference variable which refers to the, this is the most important point, get this now. Super is a reference variable which refers to the immediate superclass of current object. That's the point. Immediate superclass of what? Current object. When you have created a subclass object now, in that you will be referring to immediate superclass of subclass object. I drew the diagram now. What is the diagram I drew? This explanation for the second point. You will be having one subclass object now. This is A class, this is B class. Members will be there. So super is a keyword which refers to the immediate superclass of the current object. This is B. Object is of type B, you are having A members, you are having B members. But super is the reference variable which refers to the immediate superclass of the current object. Understood? It will take some time for you to understand this. Okay. Then next, super is used to access the instance members of the superclass from subclass. It's used for accessing what? Instance members. Next, super keyword cannot be used to access the static members. This is one more important point now. You cannot access the static members, or super keyword cannot be used in static context. Like how you cannot use this keyword in static context, same way you cannot use super keyword in static context. You cannot use it to access static members also. You cannot use it in static context also. Okay. Then super is used to access the following members of the superclass from subclass. Super is used to access the following members of the superclass from subclass. What all you can access? Variables, constructors, methods. So I am going with the first example now. Variables. One side we are learning modification of a class. Other side we are learning using super keyword. Two things we are learning parallelly. Understood? One side we are learning modifying existing class. Other side we are learning using super keyword also. So we are going with the first one now. Variables. In that, super keyword is what? Used for accessing variable. Three members. What are the three members? What are the three members of your superclass? Variables, blocks, methods, constructor. Blocks don't have name. So that is why you can't access what? Blocks. But what have names can be accessed. So super keyword is basically used for accessing all these members now. Variables, constructors, methods. Are you getting this point now? So that they are the members of superclass you can access. So that's what we are studying one by one. So first one we'll see now. Super keyword is used to resolve the conflict between what? Superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable. I will give the example clearly now. Okay. Super keyword is used to resolve the conflict between superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable, or local variable also. You will have conflict with local variables in subclass. And see this, class A, okay, here there is one int x. Class B, there is one m1 method. In m1 method you are having one more x. SOP x means which x should it print now? Local one now. So this is local variable. But if I want to work with instance variable, if at all you are having conflict with instance variable and local variable, now you should say understood. But BB is equal to new B, B dot x, it will work with that x only now, because there is only one x. Okay, I'll give you an example for that. Anyway, these examples we'll see, these are the points. I'll give you the example, one second. Just write these 2 points. Super keyword is used to resolve the conflict between superclass instance variables and subclass instance variables or local variables. One more. Super keyword is generally used to access the superclass instance variables in subclass whenever there is conflict between superclass and, one more point, same only it is, but I am telling it in a one more way, that's it. Same point. Clear? Yeah. So I have to give you the example for what? Conflict between instance variable and local variable. That also I will give you. We'll finish it. That's it. Clear? So this is one example now. So write the same example now. What you wrote, you can write it. Or the example what I gave you is related to this topic only. Just now I was explaining, super is related to that. Just I show you the conflict between what now? Superclass instance variable and local variable. Or I'll create all the conflicts and show you. I'll create all the conflicts and show you now. Yeah? So see this. Class A, int x is there. So I'll create conflicts between instance and local this time. I'll create conflict between instance and local. Valid. As simple as this. Class demo PSVM Okay, now see, A is equal to new A. You are creating an object of A. What are the members of A? Only one member, X, which is 0. A dot X is equal to 10. Fine, this is 10. A, we don't have any problems. I'm telling you, superclass will not have any problems. Only will have problems in subclass. So let's see now. B is equal to, and we are studying subclass only. You don't have to bother. I have started teaching you the subclass data type. Class data type, how many days you took to understand? 10 days. Similarly, it will take around 10 days to understand what? Subclass data type. Perfectly you want to understand, then it will take 10 days. Like college, if you want to understand, only 1 day is sufficient. Understood? Oh, I know class B extends. Over means over. Okay, but technically, if you want to understand all this clearly, means it will take you 10 days only. So fine. Now when you create B object, what will happen now? B object has got created. You are having X. You are having M1 now. Done. This is B object. Yeah. This is a member of. This is a member of class A, no? What is a member of class B, no? This one. So here, if I print SOP X. Yeah, we have created an object of B now. So this is the story. When you create B object, this is the story. B dot X is equal to 5. You can give the value, no issue. So it will overwrite. You are still working with superclass superclass X, correct? You are still working with it because there is no conflict between superclass and in subclass instance variable. There is no conflict between superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable this time. There is conflict between local and superclass instance variable. So let's see now. B dot M1 if I call now, yes. How it will be resolved? M1 will be called. M1 will print local X here. SOP X means preference is given to local X. If I add a different variable by chance, if this variable name was something like P, int P is equal to 5 instead of which one? X. Now both are accessible. This is not an issue. Only when it is X, that time you have to go with super.x. If there is X you are not using, that time this is optional. If you want, use it. Else it is not required. Only when there is conflict we use it. Understood? So super keyword will be used to resolve conflicts. Okay. Otherwise also you can access, like the first example. We did the addition, super.x plus super.y plus z. Okay. Otherwise also you can access, but generally it will be used when there is conflict between superclass instance variables and subclass instance variables or local variables. Generally. Okay. I'll type this and show it to you now. That will be clear now. This is an example for that. Are you clear? But I'll give you plenty of examples on this. More examples I give, more concepts will become clearer to you. More examples are required. Concept is okay, but more examples only will tell the solution, and these are all again SCJP examples only. These are all SCJP examples only. So means if you want to write some exam, these are all mandatory questions they'll be asking you. Shall I clear this now? So first we'll see the conflict between what? Then I'll teach you separately. Then I'll create conflict with what? All the two I'll create. Okay, if you want to see one more example, I can give many. See this now. Class A, int X, void M1. More conflicts you want to take. Int X. Conflict between what? Instance variable and superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable. Fine. You want local conflict, huh? Void M1 or M2 method. Here also I'll have what? Int X. Here also I'll have what? Int X. X is what? Parameter, no? Local variable. Fine. See now, the value of X I want to give to X. Which X? There are two X now. So what will happen now? X is equal to X means same X will be initialized. Understood? Same x will be initialized, which on the parameter only. But if you want to initialize local x, and now you're getting it. More conflicts I can create. So only examples will make your doubts clearer. And I'll only give all the examples. I know what are all your doubts. But I'll give it in a framed manner. Clearly I'll align it and give it to you. Okay, I know which example to give when. Done? Now how will you print? Okay, if you want to print the values. In fun method, we are not having conflict with what? Local variable. We are having conflict with what? Only instance variable. And two instance variables. So here you print SOPX, SOP, super dot x. Over now. Yes or no? Here there is no conflict with local and instance. Okay, this is just intro. Don't think super is over. Understood? This is just the beginning of what? Inheritance. And Java is doing in a very elegant manner, where you will not find this solution in other languages. Because in simple inheritance only we are having so many problems. Imagine in what? Multiple, hybrid, how many problems you will have. And C++ goes on to support all the inheritance. And it fails there. But Java will do it in a very fashionable way, easy way also. Understood? So shall we see the programs now? Shall I clear this? So this is wrong. This will not happen. It will initialize the local x. And you know the flow of this? Should I write it? Sorry. Yeah. See, many examples you have to see. Remember that. In only one example you will not understand. And again I have to club this with super also. That also I have to do. Okay. Just giving you some simple examples. From tomorrow we'll be seeing more deeper and deeper into all this. Class super variable demo. You have too many examples on super. You can put all the example in the one folder itself. Yeah. See, first I'll show you the different variable. There's no conflict. First we are seeing with different variables, then I'll create conflicts. So the requirement is what? There's one functionality which is present in one class. I want to modify it. Modifying means adding extra variable. Okay, we are focusing on only adding extra variable. So what did I do? I added. What is the extra variable I added? Y. I might have added extra method. M2 also I have added. Don't focus on that. Just focus on variables. Adding extra methods I'll tell later. Okay, so it has been done. So once this is done, we can work now. How will you work? See this. A is equal to null. So what variable it is? Superclass reference variable. This is superclass reference variable. Remember that first. So what will you do now? A1 is equal to new A. So you are creating what? Superclass object and giving that reference to superclass reference variable. Done? And now in that superclass object I can access, I am not trying to initialize, see that I am accessing a1.x is equal to 10 valid, and at the same time I can also print what? Value of x I can print. I can print also x in a1 is plus a1 dot x, like that also I can print, or you can print it like this also, a1 dot m1 also I can print. Valid? Any questions here? And if you want to print the address of a1, if you want, you see here, I'll print the address, value of a1 is done. Perfect. Any doubts here? A object. Go slowly, you go, don't jump to advanced programming. Step by step you see. Address is some address, a1 is 10, and if I print a1.m1 also, it will print. What it will print? If you want, you can print one more here inside m1. Inside m1 of a. Everything is perfect. Inside of m1 of a and x also it will print. Clear? We'll work with b object now. Yes, I know how to work with b now. Same story. B1 is equal to null, correct? Now B1 is equal to what? New B, correct? Now B1 dot x is equal to 5, I'll give. And then B1 dot y is equal to 6, correct? Now yes. So value of B1 is, value of x in B1 is plus B1 dot x plus B1 dot y or you can also print B1 dot m1. See how we are accessing all the members. B1 dot m2. Everything perfect. And I'll comment this code. I commented A code. We are working with only B now. Perfect. Now see all the members x, y, m1, m2. All the members we are accessing. Done. Address is different. Clear? And then B1 is 5, x is 6. Then in m1 also I can we called B1 dot m1. Then we are calling m2 directly. If you want, you can print on print there also. Inside m2 of, sorry, here we are printing y only again. Huh? Yes, you can access it. You can see there. You can access x, and you can access y also. You can access x and y also. You can access both. Correct? Huh? Both you can access. Clear? Inside m2 you can see. After that you can see the two output. Clear? Any questions? If you want, you can enable this also and work. That's a different object. Now you are working. A is a different object, B is a different object. A refers to one address, B refers to another address. So my intention was I wanted to modify this class, and the modification required was I wanted extra variable. I have done it very successfully now. There is no problem. But now the question comes, if at all when I am modifying, can I give the same variable name? Here it starts. Super keyword is starting now. Okay, one second. First I will show you with see here, when I am accessing x here, I can access it directly like this also, or super.x. And where I am using super? Only in subclass. Here don't try to use super now. Where? In demo. Demo does not have super class. Understood? So are you clear? Demo does not have superclass. And this works, there's no problem with this. So super keyword can be used only in subclasses. Okay, so then all this is fine. Now what I'll do, yes, while modifying, my requirement is this now. What? The superclass instance variable and subclass instance variable will have same name. Why? I don't want to use that X, I want to use my own X. So fine now, but now if I print X and if I print X here, what will it print? Local X only, no? X and X if I put, it will print local X only. So then, yeah, we'll comment of A object, we'll work with only B now. See, b1 dot x is equal to 5, b1 dot x is equal to 6. You are doing it, assuming that it will change. It will not. Okay, so then we'll print b1 dot x and we'll print b1 dot x. Both you have to print that only, x and x only. So b1 dot m1, what will print? 0. Because m1 in that subclass object, superclass X has not been initialized to anything because it's overwriting. Correct, na? So M1 it will print 0, but this it will print 6. And I've changed all the output now. Yes, let's see this. So inside M1 of A, value of X is 0. Inside M2 of A, both X is 6 only. Are you following now? Okay. So are you clear? See, some people will try to print, okay, work like this. I'm just showing you. Okay, you'll try to do super dot x is equal to 7. This is wrong. Why? Your intention is you want to initialize which x? X present in, see, this is what you will try. This is how you try. But these are all wrong syntax. So what has happened now is, see, we are having class A. There is one x here. We are having class B. There is one more x here. Okay, and you are working with that x in here. SOP x you can use, or SOP super dot x you can use. Okay, now to initialize what you will do, no? All this you will try. All this funda you will try. But which is wrong. Class demo, PSVM. See, B is equal to new B. You will create an object of which one? B, subclass. After creating the object, next what happens? See, these are all the different syntaxes you try. X is there. At the same time, one more X is there. B object has been created. But you will do like this. B dot X is equal to 5. It is initializing the local one. But this one, B dot X is equal to 6 means this will only overwrite. But the different syntaxes you try, but actually it is not allowed in Java. But whatever you want, you will try. What it is that you will try? Super dot X is equal to 7. Or something like this you will try now. Which is wrong. Why wrong? Super means it look in the superclass of demo. I told you very clearly, superclasses should be used in only subclasses. There it is correct. If you want to initialize now, say M1, I want to initialize. How will I initialize? Int P, int Q. So now how will I initialize? X is equal to P, super dot X is equal to Q is valid here. I am using it in subclass. But there demo does not have superclass now. It is error. So super keyword can be used only in subclass. So this is why it is error. Why? Because demo does not have a superclass. But you are still extra intelligent, you will not leave. Even though it is not working, you will not leave. You will not leave. How will you try? B dot super dot X is equal to 7. This also will try. Whatever you want, you will try. But you are not logically understanding. Dot operator is used for what? Accessing members. In B, is there a member called as super? What are the members of B? X and M1, no? What are you accessing there? B dot super dot access means B dot super dot X. Whatever you want, you write syntax, it will give error. Now don't blame Java. It is giving a solution to you very comfortably. Understood? B dot super dot X. You understanding now what is this? You write. This is wrong. Okay, don't try all these syntaxes. It is not possible to access only. I am telling you very clearly. If at all you want to access the text, it is only possible in subclass. So when you create a subclass object, Understand the statement very clearly. When you create a subclass object, in the superclass, if you are having a conflicted instance variable, this cannot be accessed with subclass reference variable. You cannot access that conflicted instance variable of the superclass. You cannot access the conflicted instance variable of the superclass with subclass reference variable in another class. This is not at all possible. First get this point very clearly. Understood? And you might, logical reason also I gave you. Technical. What is it? You wrote one class and you are adding an extra member. You didn't want to use the X of superclass. Fine. It is using your X now. Fine. Okay. It is not at all possible. Clear? So that's what I am trying to show. All these are wrong syntaxes. Don't try it now. Whatever you do, come and do it here only. So let's see now. Shall I clear this? Yeah, the syntaxes which I wrote just now, I will write it again here. I'll just show you the error. So see, in fact, I don't teach you to get output. I teach you more to get errors. Reason is you always learn with errors, not with output. So that's why I'll always keep on telling you, try this, so that the error next time when you see it should not happen to you anytime. Okay. So that's why we'll try super.x is equal to 6. If it's not switching on, 1 second. b1 dot super dot x is equal to 6. So these are the wrong syntaxes which we try. This will overwrite. This is wrong syntax. No, its syntax is correct. 1 second. Yeah, see now. See, we try to do this, what will happen? It will overwrite. Understood? It will overwrite. Super.x, it's not wrong syntax. Syntax is correct. But demo does not have superclass. Okay. Here it is wrong because demo, I'm giving the technical reasons. Demo doesn't have superclass, and super can be used only in subclasses. Here this is wrong syntax. This syntax only is not there in Java. You try means what will do. Understood? Let's see now. Compiles? No. First of all, super cannot be used in static context. They are writing it in main method, which is static context. First of all. Understood? Apart from that, these are other errors. Okay. So these are not possible. So don't never do this. These two things are wrong. Are you following? Now how to initialize now? To initialize now, so this is not possible. So that's the reason we'll comment these two also, and I'll go with one initially. Initially we'll write one method now. How will you write the method? You know now. So I'll write one method called as show now. Or fun. You can write any method name. See, right now we are seeing initialization with methods. Later on I'll bring to constructor. Very shortly I'll bring. So I'll do x is equal is equal to p. And notice today I'm using super keyword in the second line. Notice tomorrow I'll make it in first line. When you work with constructors, see, if you are accessing variable, same like this keyword. When you use this keyword to access variable, you can access it in any line. But when you use super keyword to this keyword to access constructor, it should be in the first line. Same here also. Variables can be accessed in any line, but constructor should be first line. But that's why I'm writing it deliberately today. I'm writing super where? Second line. Because I'm accessing what? Variables. Super.x is equal to what? Q. Now perfect. Now x, fine. To print also, what will I say? Value of x in A is, what will I do? Plus super.x. Now it becomes mandatory because there's conflict between superclass instance variable and subclass instance. Conflict. Okay. So you have to do it. And we'll not call M1 method. M1 I'll not call. You know it will print correctly. Yes or no? Okay, if you want to see that also. Now it will print what? It will not print 0. Sorry. We didn't call that method, no? So instead of initializing like this, we'll initialize with what? b1 is equal to, b1 dot fun everything is perfect. Address x in b1 is 5. From where it is printing now? Yeah, b1 is 5, b1 dot x. Okay, I am printing twice time. Here it is not possible. See, these two prints same, which one it will give? Local value. The local one is x. I have told 5 has been given to local x. P value has been given to local x. Q value has been given to superclass. So that's why both b1 dot x, b1 dot x is 5 only. Now value inside, I am calling m1 method later. When I call m1 method, what will happen? In A, what is the value now? After, because I have initialized. So now in m1 it will be 6. In A, I'll call m2 now. In A it is 6. In A, B it is 5. Getting it now? This is the only way you can access it. So here we are seeing conflict between superclass instance variables and subclass instance variables. Okay. So if you want, you can initialize like this, or if you want, if you don't want this to be initialized with method, you can also initialize it with what? Constructor. See this. Same story. Now slowly I am introducing constructor. I am not saying it's over. So I am introducing you how to write constructors in subclass. I am introducing you how to write constructors in subclass. So how will you do now? X is equal to P. Super dot X is equal to Q. Valid now? Variable. In the constructor I am accessing what? Variable. I am writing a subclass constructor, but I am not calling the superclass constructor. You are telling super should be the first line here. Your answer is what? Super should be the first line here. Provided super should be the first line when subclass constructor is calling the superclass constructor. Now subclass constructor is not accessing superclass constructor, it is accessing variable. So it can be in any line. Understood now? It can be written in any line. That's why I am deliberately writing it in second line. Tomorrow I will write it in first line, that time your doubts will be cleared. Understood? So check out, this is also valid. Now how will you initialize? No need to call the method this time. bb is equal to new b 5 comma 6. I will not call the method. b1 dot fun I am not calling now. Getting it now? As simple as this. Following? Are you following this? Okay. So this is how it will be done. Any questions here? Okay. What is the next example we took? Conflict between local and instance. Okay, this is clear now? Constructor writing I'll teach you, don't bother. Just a simple introduction. Writing subclasses in constructor, tomorrow I'll be teaching you. Clear? Okay. So then, okay, one more example we'll take now. Conflict with what? Local and instance. Subclass instance. Local and subclass and superclass instance, correct? Instance demo. So big class names. Local and superclass instance demo. That's why it is tough to type in what? Notepad. Understood? I bought you very fast to edit plus. If you are typing in Notepad, you would have died now. Yes or no? Class A int x, class B extends A, fine. So what we are having now? Void m1 int x is equal to 5. Val of local x plus x, value of instance x, superclass it is, superclass
x is less super dot directly I'll work with B object now. Directly I'll work with B. B is equal to new B, valid. So now B dot x is equal to what? 1 I'll give. I can print value of B. It will print, there is no conflict with what? Value of x in B is plus what? B dot x. Now there is no conflict. But if I call B dot M1, let's see, we are working on M1 now. So what is value I give? For this also I give 5 only. I'll give, okay, 1 second, I'll compile, yes. Yeah, value of x in B is 1. When I call M1 method inside M1, local x is 5. But the other x it's picking from where? Superclass. Okay, so here super dot x. If I don't write super, 5 to print. Are you following now? The simple examples. So it becomes mandatory for me to use super dot x. Clear? More conflicts you want? Yes, we'll see. So in the same example I'll modify. Okay, or I'll take M2 method, better. Int x here also. Now conflict is what? Everywhere. We'll have void fun method. Parameter is int x. Now what will happen? It's a local variable. If I want to give that value to superclass, so I should say super dot x is equal to x. Local x, this dot x is equal to x. Don't create these many conflicts, just I am showing you. Okay, so in value of local x is plus this dot x, but anyway it will print the same value, you will not understand now. Yes or no? Plus super dot x, that's it. These many conflicts will not create, man. I am just telling you, showing you. So now we'll see any other thing here. Okay, just I'm showing you B dot BB is equal to new B, and directly we have to call fun method. No, there only we are printing everything. Okay, I'll send a value of 2, but I have resolved the conflict. Understood? Okay, now see, I'll call, see, after calling fun, now I'll call M1. After calling fun, now I'll call M1. Because M1 has to execute means all the values should be initialized, no? Superclass and what? Local x value should be initialized. Sorry. We have to remove now this one. Value of, yeah. So M1 has to execute B dot, which one method? M1, no? Yeah. Anyway, I can check out, it will work. There also it's printing 2, 2. Local instance variable is 2. Superclass instance variable is 2. Just I showed you. Are you clear? Okay, and then I think any other conflicts I showed you? No. Okay. So this is what I covered today. More I'll cover tomorrow. More examples I'll give. Just work with this much and come. The story of inheritance has started. Okay. So super keyword is used to resolve conflict between superclass instance variables and subclass instance variables or local variables. Super keyword is generally used to access the superclass instance variable in subclass whenever there is conflict between superclass and subclass, or superclass instance variables between subclass local variables and superclass instance variables. Understood? Anything? Just this is the point. So you can use super keyword mainly to what? Access instance variables of superclass. We will conclude with that. Are you clear? More examples we will see in the next class. Anything else I can teach? Second.
Okay, that's it now. It will become too much. So subject only will become changed now. I have to move to constructor means it will be a different story. Constructors I'll start tomorrow. Okay, that's it.